Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlene Benedict for the Newsfirst team.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara. Here are your headlines for tonight.
Four former ministerial residences in Colombo 7 designated for new high courts under the National Anti-Corruption Initiative. Opposition leader Sajit Premadasa has called for enhanced security for MPs. 3 suspects remanded in connection with the killing of the Veligama Pradeshia Sabha chairman. Prime Minister sues Thessa Attanayaka for 100 million rupees over a false election claim. Retired Major General Nalinda Niyangoda appointed as Sri Lanka's National Intelligence Chief. 2 international airlines launched new flight routes to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's medal-winning team returns from South Asian Senior Games.
In line with the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, the government has taken steps to establish 4 new high courts. To facilitate this, the cabinet yesterday approved the allocation of 4 buildings in Colombo 7 that were previously used by ministers and members of parliament.
On the 9th of April, the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan was unveiled. The plan includes targets expected to be achieved during the 2025 to 2029 period.
Since the appointment of the Honourable Chief Justice, significant steps have been taken toward digitalisation. This includes the Supreme Court and all other courts. On behalf of the Commission, I requested the establishment of 3 specialised courts to hear cases related to bribery and corruption. The Chief Justice has agreed and the Judicial Service Commission has also consented to set up 2 courts initially. I believe by next week we will have at least 1 operational. This will enable us to expedite hearings and deliver punishment swiftly where necessary. This is what the public expects.
The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal to allocate 4 buildings under the Ministry of Public Administration, provincial councils and local governments for the establishment of 4 new high courts. Accordingly, the buildings located at B88 Gregory Road in Colombo 7, C76 in Bauddha Lokamawatha Colombo 7, B108 in Vijayarama Road, Colombo 7, B12 in Stanmore Crescent, Colombo 7 will be repurposed for this purpose. These premises were previously occupied by former ministers Keheliya Rambukwala, R. Sambandhan, Dilum Mamanugama and Sanath Nishantha.
These 4 new high courts are being established to ensure cases are heard quickly and the process of enforcing the law is expedited. In the coming days, the Ministry of Justice and the Judicial Service Commission will appoint the necessary judges and staff. No, all these buildings are still under the Ministry of Public Administration. Cabinet approval was granted yesterday to use 4 of them for high courts. Now that approval is in place, the process will begin.
The Anti-Corruption Act and the Proceeds of Crime Act are now officially in effect. The new police division dedicated to investigating assets derived from criminal activity has also been activated alongside the existing commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption. Law enforcement agencies, including the police and the Criminal Investigations Department, continue operations targeting organized crime and drug-related networks.
There is growing exposure of links between criminal activity and various individuals, revealing deeper connections over time. Meanwhile, opposition political parties, excluding the Samagi Janabala Vekaya, are reportedly planning a joint rally in Nugegoda to protest against the government. These developments were discussed on today's political platforms.
The United National Party, Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna have expressed support for the joint rally scheduled to be held in Nugegoda.
The people of this country waited a year hoping the government would deliver on its promises, but all they do is stage weekly dramas by arresting some underworld figure. Nothing meaningful is being done for the people. The chairman of the Veligama Pradeshia Sabha Lasantha was allegedly killed for tipping off authorities about weapons linked to an underworld leader. If a chairman is murdered for giving a tip, how can an innocent person ever come forward? How did the tip given to security forces end up with the underworld? That is why we say there is a conspiracy behind this killings. The first shot to send this government home will be fired on the 21st November from Nugegoda. We will not stop until this government is ousted.
ආණ්ඩුව ගෙදර යවන පළවෙනි වෙඩිමුරේ නොවැම්බර් 21 වෙනිදා නුගේගොඩින් පටන් ගන්නවා. ආණ්ඩුව ගෙදර ඇල්ලලා තමයි අපි ආපහු මේක නතර කරන්නේ.
Why is the SJB not joining the rally?
ඇයි මේ නොවැම්බර් 21 පළමු වෙඩිමුරේට ඔබතුමන්ලාගේ පක්ෂය එකතු වෙන්නේ නැත්තේ?
මම හිතන්නේ අපේ පක්ෂයෙන් මේ පිළිබඳව
I believe our party has already issued a statement on this. You can get more details from our General Secretary. Our leader Sajith Premadasa is currently engaged in a grassroots program, visiting villages, listening to the people and building a political movement from the ground up.
බාගනිමින් ගමත් සමග මේ රට ගොඩනැගීම සඳහා දේශපාලන ක්‍රියාවලියකට මුහුණ පුරලා තිබෙනවා.
දැන් අපි දැක්කා ඊයේ මාධ්‍ය සාකච්ඡාවේදී එකතු වෙච්ච පිරිස නම් කියනවා අපි සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ එකතු වීම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා විපක්ෂ නායකතුමාගේ ආශිර්වාදය මේකට තියෙනවා කියලා කියනවා.
ඕන කෙනෙකුට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේද?
Anyone can have expectations, right? We join based on principles, not personal agendas. We are not a party that forms alliances just to grab power. Sajith Premadasa was asked twice by Maitripala Sirisena to accept the Prime Ministership. Even during Daragalia, he was urged to take over, but he made decisions based on principles and public opinion.
තමයි ඒ වෙලාවේ තීන්දුව తీරන ගත්තේ.
Venerable Batramulle Silratana Thera of the Janaseta Peramuna expressed disappointment of SJB's absence.
සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ
There is no unity in the Samagi Jana Balavekya. If even one MP from the SJB doesn't attend, then what kind of united opposition is this? At the very least, Sajith Premadasa should send a virtual image or show up with some makeup and say, here's the opposition leader with us. Where is the invitation from this so-called united opposition? People like Gaman Pillai are not ordinary. They jump from place to place when they don't have power. When they had power, no one could even call them. That includes Vimal Veerawanks as well. Now they want to fool the public with this drama. SJB has the most seats in the opposition. If they don't attend, how can there be unity? This is just a performance. I urge the public not to be misled.
සමගි ජන බලවේගයක් කරන්නේ නාටකම් කිසක් නෑ ඒ නාටකම් වලින් ජනතාව රැවටෙන්න එපා කියලා මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ සිහිපත් කරනවා.
This is a response of the Sarva Janabalaya.
අපිට පේන්නේ නැහැ විපක්ෂයේ සියලු
We don't sell all opposition members as part of a united front. Even the opposition leader doesn't seem to be part of it. So as a party, we are unclear about the concept of a united opposition. Until that's clarified, we cannot make a definitive statement. We are not ready to say this united opposition is good for everything.
විපක්ෂය කියලා හැම එකටම හොඳ නැහැ කියන්න අපි සූදානම් නැහැ.
The opposition leader demanded protection for MPs once again.
Especially in the case of MP Jagat Vithana, his rights as a citizen and privileges as a member of parliament have been completely violated by the Inspector General of Police's erroneous statement. Treating someone who acted as a complainant as a criminal is unacceptable. We strongly reject and condemn this. For the second time, we have requested the Speaker to ensure the safety of MPs. We urge the Inspector General of Police to pay special attention to this matter and fulfill the duty of providing protection to all opposition MPs.
ඒ ආරක්ෂාව ලබා දීමේ කර්තව්‍ය ඉෂ්ට සිද්ධ කරන්නට.
Will opposition MPs be given protection? Public Security Minister Ananda Vijaypala responded in Kilinochchi.
ජගත් විතාන මන්ත්‍රීවරයා
MP Jagat Vithana had requested security from the police department. That security has now been provided. A decision has also been made to investigate the threats he has received and appropriate action will be taken accordingly. Several opposition groups are now attempting to unite, but this poses no challenge to the government. We are a strong government with 159 members. We have initiated many investigations against bribery, corruption and fraud. What we see now is a reaction from those who are fearful and unsettled by these investigations. Still, they have every right to engage in democratic political activity as an opposition.
දුන්නට තියෙන්නේ. ඒත් උන්ට අයිතියක් තියෙනවා විපක්ෂයක් හැටියට ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදීව දේශපාලනය නියැලෙන්න.
During the cabinet decision media briefing, journalists raised questions regarding the allegation on MP Jagat Vithana.
ජගත් විතාරණ මන්ත්‍රීවරයා පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීවරයාට පාතාල සම්බන්ධකම් තිය කියලා ඔහු ඍජුව කිව්වා. මේ වෙනකොට ඒකට ඉන්වෙස්ටිගේෂන් තියෙනවද එහෙම නැත්නම් තොරතුරු අනාවරණය වෙලා තිබෙත්.
මෙතුමාට තියෙන තර්ජනය පිළිබඳව
We are currently conducting a threat assessment regarding the threats faced by the MP. He has stated that legal action is being pursued in connection with this matter. Therefore, it would be inappropriate to comment further until legal proceedings are underway.
ගන්නට කටයුතු කරනවා කියලා. නිසා ඉදිරි නීතිමය කටයුත්තක් තියෙන වේලාවකදී මේ පිළිබඳව අපි වැඩිදුර කතා කිරීම සුදුසු නොවේ.
ඔබතුමා නීතිමය කටයුත්තක් සිද්ධ වෙනවායි කියලා ඒ ප්‍රකාශය මගහැර යන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා වගේ මේ තමයි මට නම් පේන්නේ. ඔහුට මරණ තර්ජන තියෙන්නේ පාතාලයේ සමග සම්බන්ධකම් තියෙන නිසා. ඒ ප්‍රකාශයට පොලිස්පතිතුමා සතුව යම්කිසි තොරතුරු තියෙනවද කියන එක තමයි අපි ප්‍රශ්න කරන්නේ ඔබතුමා.
ඒ ප්‍රකාශය සම්බන්ධයෙන්
We are continuing the threat assessment to gather information related to that statement. This assessment involves the State Intelligence Service, Special Intelligence Units and local police stations. We are collecting data from all these agencies.
ගැනීමට කටයුතු කරනවා.
තරජන තක්සේරුවක් කරන්න නැතුව දර දෙන්නෙක් ආරක්ෂාවට දුන්නේ ඔබතුමල්ලා.
පොලිස්පතිතුමා මේ ප්‍රකාශය
Only the Inspector General of Police knows what information he based his statement on. We don't know whether he received such data. It is possible he made that statement based on certain intelligence. Let's ask the IGP directly about it.
කරවෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපි බලමු පොලිස්පතිතුමාගෙන් ඒ ගැන අහලා.
Mathura Chief Magistrate Chatura Disanayaka ordered that the 3 suspects arrested on charges of aiding and abetting the murder of Valigama Pradeshia Sabha Chairman Lasantha Vikramasekara to be remanded until the 30th of October.
A resident of Gaul who transported the shooter in a 3-wheeler and assisted him in purchasing clothes, the owner of the motorcycle used by the shooter to escape, and a person who allegedly repaired the motorcycle have been remanded under the orders of the Mathura Chief Magistrate. Meanwhile, the shooter, his wife, the motorcyclist and the person who allegedly provided shelter to the suspect in Kakirava are scheduled to be presented to the National Dangerous Drugs Control Board. This is to obtain a report on the drugs to which the suspects are addicted to. The Financial Crimes Investigation Division conducted investigations into the 4 suspects up to now, and the IGP has instructed the Criminal Investigations Department to further continue investigations into the matter. During the cabinet decision media briefing, journalists questioned officials about the controversial arrest and public interrogation of the main suspect in the murder of the Valigama Pradeshia Sabha chairman.
මේ වෙනකොට සමාජයේ බරපතල කතාබහක් ඇති වෙලා තියෙනවා පෙරේදා කරපු අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීම විදිතපපු සැකකරුවාව අත්අඩංගුවට ගැනීම සහ ඔහු මහපාරේ තියාගෙන ප්‍රශ්න කිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් මේක නීති විරෝධී වැඩක් අත් වශයෙන්ම මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මේ නිලධාරීන්ගේ ප්‍රශ්න කරලා තියෙනවද එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් යම්කිසි විනය ක්‍රියාමාර්ගයක් ගන්නවද
විමර්ශකයෙකුගේ මුඛ්‍ය පරමාර්ථය වෙන්නේ
The primary objective of investigators during raids and arrests is to ensure proper procedure. We are aware that such matters ultimately end up in court. Therefore, presenting details through media, photographing or video recording such incidents is strictly prohibited. The IGP has taken this matter seriously and a special investigation has already been launched through the Special Investigation Unit to look into the conduct of the officers involved.
ඒ විමර්ශනය සිද්ධ වෙච්ච අවස්ථාවේදී ඒ හා සම්බන්ධ නිලධාරීන්ට විරුද්ධව මේ වෙද්දී Special Investigation Unit එක කරා විමර්ශනයක් ආරම්භ කළා තියෙනවා.
සංවිධානාත්මක අපරාධකරුවෙකුට මේ රටේ මේ මැතිවරණයකට ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා ජනතා නියෝජිතයෙක් බවට පත් වීමේ හැකියාව තියෙනවා කියලා මේ ගැටලුව වලින් අපිට පේන්න තියෙනවා. මේකට ක්‍රමවේදයක් හදන්න රජය අවධානය යොමු වෙලා නැද්ද?
මැතිවරණ අපේක්ෂකයන් විදිහට ඉදිරිපත් වීමේදී
There are laws in place regarding election candidacy. Anyone convicted by a court cannot contest for a certain number of years. However, if someone is only accused and not yet proven guilty in court, there is no legal barrier to contesting. That's the gap we are seeing here. Political parties have a moral responsibility not to nominate such individuals. Legally, only after conviction and the lapse of the specified period can someone be barred from contesting. But during ongoing trials, there is no law preventing candidacy. That's the loophole being exploited.
නමුත් උසාවියක නඩු විභාග කටයුත්තක් වෙද්දී ඉල්ලන්න බෑ කියලා නීතියක් නැහැ. උතන ඔය හිදසින් තමයි මේ රිංගලා තියෙන්නේ.
A defamation case filed by Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuri against former parliamentarian Tissa Attanayaka was taken up at the Colombo District Court. The court fixed the matter for pre-trial conference on the 2nd of December.
The defamation case filed by Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuri against former MP Tissa Attanayaka seeks 100 million rupees in damages over a false statement made during the 2024 presidential election campaign. Attanayaka had claimed that under a government led by the National People's Power, the Dalada Perahera would be discontinued. The Prime Minister filed the case naming Tissa Attanayaka and a media channel as respondents.
The opposition keeps calling our government a dishonest one. But let's look at the facts. It's been a year since we came to power. Who's really spreading lies? This case was filed because of the false claim that we would stop the Dalada Perahara. We have already proven that statement false. The Perahara was held successfully. There's nothing left to prove. Today the respondents filed their answers, but they did not respond to the actual question. The Sattanayaka's response is like dodging the issue.
News First with the people.
The Sri Lankan team that won the runner-up title at the 2025 South Asian Senior Athletics Championship arrived back in the island this morning. The tournament, which was held in India, saw the participation of 300 athletes from 6 countries.
The Sri Lankan team emerged as the runner-up at the South Asian Senior Athletics Championships, which concluded last night. Sri Lanka delivered an impressive performance, securing 16 gold, 14 silver and 10 bronze medals, a total of 40 medals. The best athlete was Rumesh Taranga, who won the gold medal in the javelin throw event. Safia Yamik, who won the 100-meter dash, became the fastest woman in South Asia, while she also won the gold medals in the 200-meter and the women's 4 into 100-meter relay events. Chamod Yodasinghe was crowned the fastest man in South Asia after he won gold in the men's 100-meter dash. Sports Minister Sunil Kumar Gamage was also present to welcome the athletes back to the island.
ලබන අවුරුද්දේ බලනවා මම මීට වඩා හොඳ විදියට මේ හැම තරඟාවලියක්ම නිමා කරන්න. ඉතින් ලබන අවුරුද්දේ ආසියානු තරඟාවලිය සහ කොමන්වෙල්ත් තරඟාවලිය තියෙනවා. සහ 2027 වර්ල්ඩ් චැම්පියන්ෂිප් සහ 2028 තියෙන ඔලිම්පික් තරඟාවලිය ඉහළතම දක්ෂතාවයක් සහ මෙඩල් ලබා දෙන්න තමයි ඊළඟ බලාපොරොත්තුව තියෙන්නේ.
2026 වසර ආරම්භයේදීම ලෝක ගෘහස්ත ශූරතාවලිය තිබෙනවා. ඒකට සහභාගී වෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තුෙන් ඉන්නවා. ඒ වගේම 2026 ආසියානු ක්‍රීඩාවලිය සහ පොදු රාජ්‍ය මණ්ඩලයේ ක්‍රීඩාවලියට සහභාගී වෙලා පදක්කමක් ලබා ගැනීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
ජනවාරි වල මං හිතන්නේ සවුත් ඒෂියන් ගේම්ස් තියෙනවා. ඒකෙත් මං ගෝල්ඩ් මෙඩල් 3ක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ගන්න. ඒ විදිහටම 2028 ඔලිම්පික් නියෝජනය කළා ලංකාවට මෙඩල් එකක් ගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Safia Yamik, who won 3 gold medals at the South Asian Senior Athletics Championship, received a warm welcome at her hometown, Kandy. A large crowd, including the Deputy Mayor and the Municipal Commission of Kandy, joined the occasion. The ceremony to receive Pasindu Malshan, who won gold at the triple jump event, and Manuja Prabhash, who represented the men's 4 into 100-meter relay team, was held today in Minuwangoda.
Major General Nalinda Niyangoda officially assumed duties as the new Chief of National Intelligence today.
Major General Nalinda Niyangoda received his letter of appointment yesterday from Defence Secretary Air Vice Marshal Sampath Toyakonta, marking the formal commencement of his new role. He officially assumed duties as the new Chief of National Intelligence today at the Ministry of Defence in Sri Jawahardanapura Kotte. A senior officer of the Sri Lanka Armoured Corps, Major General Niyangoda brings over 35 years of distinguished service in the Sri Lanka Army. Throughout his military career, he has held numerous key and demanding appointments, consistently demonstrating exceptional leadership, strategic acumen, and unwavering commitment to national security.
Cabinet approval has been granted to recruit 8,547 people to the public service sector. This decision was made based on the recommendations of the committee appointed to review the recruitment process and staff management in the public sector.
Recruitment of the public service sector had not been carried out properly for quite some time. As a result, there's an increase in the number of vacancies in many institutions. There is a shortage of officers across various grades from top to bottom. Therefore, it was decided last December to appoint a committee under the Prime Minister to review this matter and implement a proper recruitment process. Accordingly, several reports of that committee were presented on different occasions. Yesterday, a new committee report was presented. Based on the report, approval was granted to recruit 8,547 47 personnel to various departments, ministries and provincial councils, in line with the recommendations of the committee appointed to review the recruitment process and manage staff in the public service.
The Ministry of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs has received approval to recruit the highest number of personnel. That number stands at 5,198. In addition, approval was also granted to recruit 1,261 personnel for the Ministry of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs, 414 for the Western Province Council, 355 for the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, and 310 to the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development.
The government of Sri Lanka has issued a new Gazette notification revising the procedure for excise tax payments and fee collections regarding to alcohol production. The notification issued by President Andrew Kumar Dissanayake in his capacity as the Minister of Finance and Economic Development comes into effect from today.
Under the revised regulations, all licensed alcohol manufacturers are now required to settle their excise tax dues on or before the stipulated deadline in accordance with Section 22 of the Excise Ordinance. Failure to do so within 30 days of the due date will result in the suspension of the bottling license. Furthermore, if the outstanding tax or fees remain unpaid for more than 90 days, all licenses held by the defaulter will be suspended. This marks a significant tightening of enforcement, as the previous suspension period for non-compliance was 6 months, which has now been reduced to 3 months. The Excise Department confirmed that while these provisions existed in the law, they had not been actively enforced until now.
An Edelweiss Air flight from Zurich, Switzerland touched down at the Bandar Naik International Airport today, marking the airline's first ever commercial arrival in the country.
The inaugural flight, operated using an Airbus A340, was greeted with a traditional water salute on the tarmac, a ceremonial welcome reserved for special occasions in global aviation. Edelweiss Air, a leisure-focused carrier and a member of the Lufthansa Group, is now officially connecting with Sri Lanka with Switzerland during the winter season, offering a new gateway for European travellers seeking tropical escapes. According to airport authorities, the airline will operate twice weekly flights, arriving every Tuesday and Saturday, further strengthening tourism and trade ties between the two nations. This new route is expected to boost inbound tourism from Central Europe and offer Sri Lankan travellers a direct link to the heart of Switzerland. As Sri Lanka gears up for the winter tourism season, two major Eastern European carriers, Russia's Red Wings Airlines and Belarus' Belavia, have officially commenced operations to the island. The Red Wings Airlines flight touched down at Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport this morning, carrying 412 Russian tourists. Red Wings, one of Russia's leading carriers, is scheduled to operate 6 flights per week to Sri Lanka throughout the winter, catering to the growing demands from Russian travellers seeking tropical gateways. Adding to the momentum, Belavia Airlines, the national carrier of Belarus, also made its first ever landing at Mattala. The flight arrived with 277 tourists, further underscoring Sri Lanka's appeal as a preferred winter destination for Eastern European travellers.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya has called for a critical reassessment of how success is measured within Sri Lanka's university system, urging a more balanced approach to research, teaching and societal engagement.
It is notable that during the past several years, there has been a significant increase in research symposiums, conferences and other research events in our university system. Increasingly, our research is now linked with increasing our profile in terms of university rankings, and university rankings have become sort of the be-all and end-all of determining the quality of a university and even an academic. We are all trapped in this system. All of this are within this system, but there are times that as an academic myself, I wonder about the usefulness of this way of measuring success and effectiveness. I also wonder sometimes to what extent the increasing volume of research and practice, research and publications has led to, let's say, improved teaching and or societal engagement. We all know that research is one of the core missions of a university. Research is necessary to generate new knowledge and to also feed into our teaching, another core mission of a university. Universities also have the responsibility of nurturing the next generation of researchers and scholars. Hence, a rigorous and thriving research culture that will inspire and motivate the next generation of scholars is absolutely necessary. What we need is to find a balance between a very traditional, elitist, and sort of ivory tower version of universities and scholarship, and also a purely corporate-driven, transactional, commercial model of universities, of scholarship, and of teaching. We are expanding support for interdisciplinary and collaborative research, promoting open access to scholarly work, and encouraging international partnership.
The inauguration ceremony of the annual Research Symposium 2025 hosted by the University of Colombo was held in Colombo. The symposium is hosted under the theme Research for Resilience, Advancing Knowledge in a Changing World.
The whole idea of selecting this theme is to identify how we can move forward, not only as a university, but as a nation as well. What can we do to contribute towards the development of the country, and then to implement them and commercialize them and monitor them. That is very important. How to align our research. In the past also, true that we have done lot of research and it has contributed to the development of the country, but we need to make sure that that is within a streamlined mechanism.
Initiated as a regular event in 2008, the Research Symposium of the University of Colombo has become an important event in the university's calendar. It unifies all symposia held by individual faculties, institutes, campus, school and the library of the University of Colombo, providing researchers with a platform to showcase their work.
Professor Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Priyanka Ranasinghe from the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo. Felicitating Professor Deepika Fernando. Professor Fernando.
A purified drinking water facility was opened today in the village of Kalugolla Kumari in Pottoville under the financial assistance from the Government of India.
The newly built purified drinking water system for the people of Kalugolla Komari, funded by the Government of India, was declared open today. Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Santosh Jha attended the event as the chief guest and officially opened the new water system.
This small contribution will have a big impact. I understand that it will benefit around 100 families daily. This contribution forms part of the larger development cooperation of India and Sri Lanka. Our people-centric development projects span the length and breadth of the island. Many projects have been undertaken in the eastern province. We have built thousands of houses in the province. We have supplied necessary equipment to hundreds of educational centers. We have constructed vocational training centers. We recently inaugurated a new surgical unit at Teaching Hospital in Batticaloa. We are providing financial assistance to students of the province from economically weaker sections of the society. We have extended a special multi-sectoral grant of about 2.35 billion US dollars, Sri Lankan rupees, for the eastern province. 33 socio-economic development projects are being implemented under this. Some of these projects will be in Ampare. We will continue to similarly support all possible development cooperation initiatives in the eastern province and across all of Sri Lanka. Let me conclude by affirming that India stands firmly with Sri Lanka in pursuit of your well-being and progress.
In addition, the High Commissioner also opened a newly constructed bus halt near the Kalugolla Junction, Komari, along the Akkarepattu Pothuwil main road. Members of Parliament, the chairman of the Pothuwil Pradeshya Sabha, government officials and local residents were present at the event.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism, Vijitha Herath, spoke about the development projects that are planned to be carried out in the Eastern Province under Indian financial assistance. He made these comments at the Cabinet media briefing today.
Naganira Palata Tula Bahu Ansika.
Getting a grant from India for multi-sectoral projects in the Eastern Province. To be honest, we got a grant from the Indian government for projects in education, health, fisheries and many other sectors. There are 33 such projects. There is a requirement to enter into 33 memoranda of understandings with the Ministry of Public Administration for the implementation of these projects. It is according to these that the construction can be carried out at the designated location, the procurement and bringing down of the required equipment can be done, and the supply of the equipment and awarding of tenders can be done. There is a requirement to sign 33 agreements regarding all of these matters. Based on those agreements, these projects will be carried out in the future.
Michael Kors, through its Watch Hunger Stop campaign, has contributed $2.7 million to support the World Food Programme's homegrown school feeding initiative in Sri Lanka.
Michael Kors is a world-renowned award-winning designer of luxury accessories and ready-to-wear. Michael Kors, through its Watch Hunger Stop campaign, has contributed $2.7 million to support the World Food Programme's homegrown school feeding initiative in Sri Lanka. This funding will significantly scale up the programme's reach and impact across the island. 250,000 school children will now receive daily nutritious meals. 1,500 local farmers, the majority of whom are women, will be empowered through sustainable sourcing. 30 schools will benefit from upgraded solar-powered kitchens. The program will expand to 10 districts, strengthening food security and education outcomes nationwide. The initiative not only nourishes young minds but also strengthens local economies by sourcing food directly from smallholder farmers.
President Donald Trump began one of his busiest days of his Asia trip by warmly greeting the new Japanese Prime Minister, with plans to later speak to U.S. troops abroad, an aircraft carrier, and mingle with business leaders.
As Trump and Takaichi met today, they shook hands and he paid her a compliment. In return, Takaichi talked about watching the third game of the U.S. World Series before the event. She added that Japan would give Washington 250 cherry trees next year to honor America's 250th anniversary, as well as fireworks from Akita Prefecture for the 4th July celebrations. She used her early remarks to mention former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, her arch-conservative mentor who forged a strong bond with Trump during his first term through their shared interest of golf. Trump called her role as Japan's first woman Prime Minister as a big deal, putting an emphasis on the US commitment to Japan. While the president in the past has publicly scolded his foreign counterparts, he had nothing but praise for Takaichi.
So, President Trump, let me extend a very warm welcome upon your visit to Japan. As I conveyed to you over the phone, I thank you for your congratulatory message to me right after my party LDP's presidential election. And I have been very much looking forward to seeing you in person here in Japan. First of all, thank you for your enduring friendship with Prime Minister Abe over the years. In such a short period of time, the world started to enjoy more peace on the ground. And in this context, I highly value your unwavering commitment towards peace and stability. I, myself, was so impressed and inspired by you, Mr. President. Now both Japan and the United States have developed the greatest alliance in the world. And together with you, Japan is ready to contribute towards peace and stability. On diplomacy, I am determined to restore dynamic Japan's diplomacy to protect Japan's own national interests. In addition, I am ready to promote further collaboration with you and with the United States toward our shared goal of achieving a free and open Indo-Pacific. I will continue to strive as the leader of Japan to strengthen Japan's national power, namely diplomacy, defense capabilities, economic power, technology, intelligence, and human resources.
来年は米国建国250周年
And I want to congratulate you. As you know, Shinzo Abe was a great friend of mine, and I was very saddened to see what happened. It was so shocking, and I'm not surprised to see that you are now the Prime Minister, and he would be very happy to know that, and I congratulate you on behalf of the United States of America. I know that you are increasing your military capacity very substantially, and we've received your orders for a very large amount of new military equipment, and you know that we make the best military equipment in the world, the jets, the missiles, and everything else, and hopefully we don't have to use them very much, if at all. And I will say that this will be a relationship that will be stronger than ever before, and I look forward to working with you. And on behalf of our country, I want to just let you know, anytime you have any question, any doubt, anything you want, any favors you need, anything I can do to help Japan, we will be there. We are an ally at the strongest level, and it's a great honor to be with you, especially so early in what will be, I think, one of the greatest prime ministers. I think you will be one of the great, everything I know from Shinzo and others, you will be one of the great prime ministers.
Both leaders signed the implementation of an agreement for the golden age of their nation's alliance. When the document was held up after signing, it ran to less than one page and reaffirmed the earlier framework by which the US would tax goods imported from Japan at 15% and the creation of a $550 billion fund for Japan to invest in the US. Trump and Takaichi then signed a second agreement, this one laying out a US-Japan framework for securing the supply of critical minerals and rare earths. That agreement suggested that some of the investment dollars would go to the development of rare earths needed for advanced technologies. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters that Takaichi would be nominating Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. The two leaders also met with people whose family members were abducted by North Korea.
Hurricane Melissa is about to pummel Jamaica as a catastrophic Category 5 storm, the strongest to lash the island since record-keeping began 174 years ago. The storm is expected to make landfall early Tuesday and slice diagonally across the island, entering near St. Elizabeth Parish in the south and exiting around St. Anne Parish in the north, according to forecasters. Hours before the storm, the government said it had done all it could to prepare, as it warned of catastrophic damage.
The world's most powerful storm this year is drawing closer to Jamaica as it barrels northeast through the Caribbean Sea. Authorities in Jamaica ordered the evacuation of areas likely to be affected by the storm, including parts of the capital, Kingston, and closed both international airports. They fear it could be the strongest hurricane ever to hit Jamaica. The hurricane was forecast to move over Jamaica on Tuesday, continue its path north towards southeast Cuba later in the day, and hit the southeast Bahamas on Wednesday. The storm has already been blamed for 3 deaths in Jamaica and 4 deaths in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Melissa was upgraded to a Category 5, the maximum strength, by the US-based National Hurricane Center early on Monday. Landslides, fallen trees, and numerous power outages were reported ahead of the storm, with officials in Jamaica cautioning that the cleanup and damage assessment would be slow. Melissa is expected to bring 15 to 30 inches of rain to areas of Jamaica and 6 to 12 inches to southern Hispaniola through Wednesday, with a total of 40 inches possible in some places.
Microsoft and OpenAI reached a deal to allow the ChatGPT maker to restructure itself into a public benefit corporation valuing OpenAI at $500 billion and giving it more freedom in its business operations. The deal removes a major constraint on raising a capital for OpenAI that has existed since 2019 when it signed a deal with Microsoft that gave the tech giant rights over much of OpenAI's work in exchange for costly cloud computing services needed to carry it out. As its ChatGPT service exploded in popularity, those limitations became a notable source of tension between the two companies. An OpenAI spokesperson said CEO Sam Altman will not get equity in the restructured company in a reversal from discussions last year that he would receive equity. The company has no plans to focus on a potential public offering. Microsoft will still hold a stake of about $135 billion or 27% in OpenAI Group PBC, which will be controlled by OpenAI Foundation, a non-profit, the company said. Microsoft shares rose 2.5%, sending its market values above $4 trillion again.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.